Well, welcome, and we're so happy to see everyone today. As many of you know, today is actually my last official day as the executive director of Emerge. So I did bring tissues, please expect tears, but I'm gonna do my best to make it through this. I've had the honor of serving as the leader of this amazing organization for the past 7 years. And after deep consideration, I've decided to relocate to upstate New York to be closer to family with my daughter, Noah. I know, isn't she the cutest thing? The past seven years have been foundational to my career and to my life. When I started in 2015, we were truly in startup mode. Felicia Martin was the only nonprofit employee. We were serving 14 high schools and 350 students in HISD. The Houston Endowment had just signed on to help us scale our work in HISD and into Spring Branch. But we didn't have a dedicated office space, and literally every back office system, from benefits to payroll to insurance, all had to be built. I was actually reflecting on receiving my first Emerge computer, and I'm not sure if it was from a garage sale or if it was my board chair's MacBook from business school. But you know when you open the computer and you are sort of trying to guess where all the keys are because none of the letters are still on the keyboard? That was what I was working with when I started. And so I know a lot of people in the room are thinking, why would you ever take this job? I remember calling my parents saying, this is an amazing opportunity, but it has to be built. And so, when I think about why did I do it, why did I take this job, to me, the answer was always so simple. I took this job because I could see the potential of Emerge. I remember talking to Rick and learning about his vision, and just being able to see what the organization could be. And I really wanted to be part of building it. Over the last 7 years, I've grown so much as a leader, met some of my closest friends, and experienced the highest highs and lowest lows of life. Losing my mother in 2018, and becoming one in 2020. When I was thinking about what I wanted to share today in my final remarks, an idea from Dan and Chip Heath's book, The Power of Moments, came to mind. The premise of this book essentially says that over the course of our lives, we don't remember years or weeks or days, but rather we remember moments. And so I decided I wanted to share 2 pivotal moments with you all today that I think really capture the power of Emerge and the work that we're doing in the city of Houston. The first one is called the turning point moment. Every June, we take summer college tours all over the country, New York, DC, North Carolina, Ohio, Boston, all over the place. I've had the opportunity to serve as a chaperone, or as the students like to say, undercover boss, on 2 trips during my time as executive director to upstate New York and to Southern California. I want you to imagine for a moment an entire Southwest flight full of students. Most of them have never left their neighborhoods. Most of them are getting on the plane for the very first time. Most of them are terrified, but desperately trying to act cool. There is this moment right before the plane takes off, when the engine starts and the flight attendant comes on and asks everyone to buckle their seatbelts, that you can hear a pin drop. Silence. What's so powerful about this moment, because I've asked other staff members who have experienced the same thing, is that it happens on every single trip, every single year. This moment of silence. To me, this is the moment where everything we do at Emerge becomes real. This is the moment where students start to see themselves in the next chapter of their lives and who they may just become in the world. And experiencing this moment in real life is something that will stay with me forever. Now, as you can imagine, this only happens on the first flight because the second leg of the flight and every other flight we take home is the loudest, most chaotic trip of your entire life. So highly recommend, if you want to see it, getting on the first one. The next moment, the next moment is what I like to call the village moment. In 2017, Natalie Romero, one of our HISD Emerge students attending the University of Virginia, was struck by the car that plowed through the crowd in the Charlottesville, Virginia attacks. In the last 7 years, I have received my fair share of after-hours phone calls. But this call, this particular moment, is one that will stay with me forever. The morning that Natalie was struck by the car, do you know who one of the first people her mother called for help was? Her Emerge program manager. Out of all of the people she could reach out to that morning, she reached out to us for help. Because if you're part of Emerge, you know that when you're in the Emerge Village, we will always show up. In fact, as I look across this room today, I see so many of the people who sprang into action, from legal support to media coverage to financial support to university support and so much more. In fact, Noreen Ali, who I think is in the room today, Noreen, hi Noreen, her former program manager, actually flew to University of Virginia the next morning to be with Natalie when her family couldn't travel. Natalie was supported through one of the hardest moments in her life because she was part of the Emerge Village. While we are a college access and success program, when you are part of Emerge, you are family. And as this organization grows and scales and expands, I hope this is a feeling and a sentiment that we always keep. After recovering from her physical injuries, Natalie re-enrolled at UVA and graduated in 2020. She's currently working as a translator for success stories in New York City while she prepares for the LSAT, applies to law school, and probably runs for President of the United States of America. As I close out my time as executive director, I wanted to recognize a student who made a lifelong impact on me. Natalie, on the hardest days, your story of resilience has inspired me to do more, to be more, to expand this organization to reach more students. I don't think there is another student in this program who embodies more clearly why we do this work. So Natalie Romero, our Emerge hero, can you please stand and let us recognize you? I told you there was going to be tears, you guys. Emerge is no longer in startup mode. We all have computers that have keys on them now. Today, we're serving 5 school districts and 3,000 students across our high school and college success programs. We have 60 employees across our nonprofit and HISD Emerge teams. And as we come out of the pandemic, we are positioned and prepared to enter the next chapter. We have an ambitious strategic plan. We will double the number of Emerge students in our program. And we have a new, brilliant leader whose first day is today that I want you all to meet. It is now my honor to introduce the next Emerge CEO who will take us into the next chapter. She is a dear friend, a mother, and has an Emerge story herself. She's a proud daughter of immigrants, a leader who comes to Emerge with over 20 years of education experience as a superintendent, former teacher and principal, and school support officer in HISD. The time has come to pass the torch, so please join me in giving a warm Emerge welcome to the new Emerge CEO, Dr. Anastasio Lindo Anderson.